So what we're going to do today is we're going to start with just a quick minute, and you're going to tell us a little bit about who you are in the world. How does the world see you? What are those things that you're known for? And then tell us a little bit about your story when you felt that calling in your heart. Anybody want to go first?
Well, I am a mindset coach. I'm also a sex, love, and intimacy educator. And my name is Michelle Alva, Michelle Alva TV on YouTube, Michelle Alva Love on Instagram. Jeff Parker Love and I are a little bit related. And a little bit about my story.
Yeah, tell us about your story. So when you felt called to this work, what was it like for you?
Well, it wasn't really something obvious because I started off being raised Catholic and my family's from Peru. I came from a very traditional Catholic Latin background where you weren't really empowered as a woman, and I had sexual trauma when I was young. And so my path led me to become a physical therapist, pelvic floor specialist, and then I discovered that I was holding a lot of shame from what happened to me when I was very young and the weight of shame in my body. And then the truth came out that we're energy, and just life taught me that we're so much more than just our traumas and our past. So today, as my journey has led me to feel very free, to feel love and to love my past, because I know that my mess is my message, and I know that it was on purpose what I experienced. But a lot of what I experienced, I mean, it was all in my head, because really that teenager wasn't meaning to hurt me. I amplified the pain. I did all that to myself. So today I work as a mindset coach, teaching people to reframe our past so that we can also be free from our own shackles of our mind. But then it's amazing how the body immediately transmutes that emotional pain into freedom and liberation. And then that leads to orgasmic bliss. And that's what I realized, how if we don't let go of the pain, that we're not going to be able to feel the freedom. So it's a journey. Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys know Michelle. If you know Michelle, does she live this journey? Yeah. Excellent. How many of you have had a situation where the calling in your heart, that thing you're working on in the world, came from a place of pain? The original source. It's a common thing. We often teach what we need to learn. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. Abraham.
Yeah, well, I share my story with you guys, but for me, when I first started to feel that call to adventure, that call to pursue my passion, my bliss, and really live out my truth, was at the transition from high school to college. To me, going to college never felt like it was the right thing. I wanted to go out and keep trying to build businesses, but the pressure was very strong, and I ended up not listening to my intuition, my truth, and ignoring that call, and I ended up going to college, but that call, it'll keep knocking at your door, and the more you ignore it, the louder it gets. And that's why on my third year, I started that business, and I ended up dropping out of college, and I was like, man, I should have done this early on, but that was the lesson that I needed to learn. But yeah, that's when I initially felt that call to adventure.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Abraham. Same, right? Have anyone else ever been pressured? You're supposed to do it that way? You're supposed to do it this way? And how did you overcome that? Okay, Mark, let's hear from you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Mark Cleveland. I have been labeled a serial entrepreneur. I'm okay with that. And I dropped out of college because I was putting myself through college, and wound up starting a business in order to make the next semester, and that became a big business, and we were $1 million, and that's a long time ago when $1 million was a lot of money. And was really a terrific adventure. I never looked back. I've started and sold 12 companies. I own a number of companies now. People who've gotten behind me and the people who deserve credit for any success that I've been able to achieve are my investors and my employees and my team and my co-founders. And I have a lot of different companies today. They're doing a lot of different things with co-founders and great talent. So, for me, I sold one company. It felt like, okay, I'm done with this, and I decided I was going to try to save the world after that. So my transition was about 15 years ago, I started a company called Carbon Angel. And we wanted to do carbon offsets and try to make it possible for industry to exist and at the same time beauty and rejuvenation and recovery. And it was real early in the carbon market business, and I'm not really accustomed to failure. And I got a great lesson in failure. And I set that down and went off and started another company called Swiftwick. We manufacture the world's best socks, and they're environmentally friendly. And what is an environmentally friendly sock? Well, that's another story. But they look like that. And, I retired from that company, still exists. We got a great team running it forward. I started another company. Ultimately, about 7 years later, Hitch Rewards became my passion. And it was really the foundation of failure and all the lessons that I had learned at that point in time. And we started a multi-million-dollar investment in a free app that every time you drive, anywhere you drive, no matter where you are, bike, run, walk, it's like your mobility diary. And we plant trees every time you use the mobility diary. So we offset your carbon of the emissions of the vehicle that you're driving right now, and everybody drives. So what we have to do to get from where we are today to where we need to be tomorrow is a transition for the world. We're talking about that. And my transition was getting to the point where that business was created. And then, of course, the pandemic came. So being in the mobility business in the pandemic is a really bad place to be. So I've learned a lot in that moment. Jeff Parker became a coach for me, and I became a coach for him. And now he's wearing a suit, and I'm wearing, what I feel like. So that's the transition.
That's so beautiful, Mark. And how often do we begin to look like our mentors? Anyone ever pay attention to that? You start to look like those mentors. Jeff's working with Mark. He's starting to look a little loose and flowy, and Jeff's all up in here in his blazer today. How was that? Nice,
I used to look like Abraham with short hair, and this growing hair out stuff is tough.
The hair's just starting. And just think about that when you are choosing and selecting mentors. Choose someone who has what you want, because you're probably going to get it, right? Excellent. Giselle, it's your turn.
Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Giselle. I'm known as Giselle World. So to answer your question about how we are known, for me, it depends who you're talking to. I would say that I'm mostly known as musical performing artist, composer Giselle World. I'm also known as a medicine woman because I work with plant medicine and healing work. And I'm also known as an educator, a teacher. I've been teaching in a university for over 10 years, which is something in this community most people don't know because they know me more as a musician. But I've been an educator in the university for more than 10 years, and in general, I would say more than 20, because I've been teaching since I was a teenager. And so education is very important to me, as is music, as is the medicine. So my call to action was in weaving all of that together. And so I'm also known as an event producer, where I bring all aspects of those things that I'm passionate about together to help educate people, really, is one of my passions. My personal passion is music. My healing work and passion also is medicine, but in my mission is education, teaching people how to connect more with themselves and how to take care of the earth, how to work with the plants so that we can awaken, and not only awaken our mission, but also awaken our creativity. So call to action, what I'm working on a lot now is actually vocal healing, because I was a singer before I was anything else, and then for some reason I encountered a lot of anxiety as a teenager around singing, and so I just quit singing for 10 years. From about 15 to 25, I stopped singing, and then when I found plant medicine, the medicines brought back my voice. And as I started to sing again, and then get known for singing, which still blows my mind, I realized that this is something that so many people carry, the need to sing, but the fear of doing it. And so I want to help people all over the world find their voice. So I've become a vocal healing coach. And yeah.